It's 4 o'clock on a Monday, and you know what that means, don't you? It's time for another exciting episode of TAXITV Live. He says as he drools all over himself. Hello, everybody. How are you? So, we're going to listen to 3 listings today of music. And the first one is from listing number S230622. GZ, which is contemporary alt indie pop songs, and you guys are going to determine if you think it's a forward or return. All right, so the listing for that one said contemporary alt indie pop songs with male or female vocals are needed for a direct-to-music supervisor placement in an indie feature film. If you notice, by the way, we've been getting a lot more listings from indie film producers and directors and music soups lately, which we really like, and we hope you like that as well. Let's see. Taxi doesn't normally take requests for music from indie films unless there's a sync fee paid to the music creators, because we do get a lot of requests where the indie filmmakers are working on such a tiny budget they can't pay you, so we won't run those. If there are any sync fees paid for this project, they'll likely be on the smaller side. We'd guesstimate under $1,000, which is, usually they're like $200, $500, $1,000 for indie films, with most of the income earned via PRO royalties paid down the road. However, this request comes from an excellent music supervisor who has a history of using music from Taxi's members in many, many things, actually. We think this is a great chance to possibly make some upfront money. And maybe more importantly, it's an opportunity for this extremely busy music supervisor to get to know you and your music, and at the very least, make some performance income when the film streams or goes to cable. The music supervisor's on the hunt for mid-tempo songs and the general stylistic wheelhouse of the following references we got directly from him, the music supervisor. Lottery by Callie Uchis. Sorry, Callie, if I butchered your name. When You Die by MGMT. Blame It on the Stars by Andy Grammer. Lost by Frank Ocean. And Baby Girl by Bryce Vine. Send them top-notch contemporary alt indie pop songs that capture an overall youthful and effortlessly cool vibe and energy that could work well in a film. Your submission should have catchy melodies, earworm hooks, engaging grooves, well-crafted lyrics, and expressive, well-performed vocals with a lighter touch. Current-sounding instrumentation in the general style of references will suit your submissions best. Your production should be polished, and any virtual instruments or sound you use need to be high quality and fresh. Lyrics that don't have references to specific names, dates, time, places, and brands, and profanity could make your songs more usable for the placement. Do not copy any of the reference songs or artists in any way, shape, or form. Broadcast quality, you know the drill. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and for this one, we had 83 submissions come in. 65 were returned, 18 were forwarded, and now we're going to listen to 4 of them, and you guys are going to tell me if you would forward it or not. I'm not going to mention the songwriters or artist names because, we don't need to make anybody feel uncomfortable if they weren't forwarded. Let me make sure I've got this up and running. Let's hit play. Yep. This is called Tired.
You believe the lies you tell yourself. You know you can't deny there's someone else. You hide behind denial. You know that's true. There's no pretending now. It's over. I hope you're happy now. Is this what you want? There's no turning back now. 'Cause I'm tired of love. I don't know what is real no more. I'm tired of love. I don't know what to feel no more. I'm giving up. I don't know what is real no more. I'm tired of love. writing on the wall is as clear as day. Read between the lines, it's all your fault. There's no need to hold on, got what you want. I'm ready to move on, it's over. There's no one left to blame but yourself. There's no turning back now. I'm tired of it. I don't know what is real no more. I'm tired of it. I don't know what to feel no more. Giving up. I don't know what is real no more. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
There we go.
Ashmita, ladies and gentlemen, take a bow. Good job. Thanks, Ash. I'm so relieved.
Tired of it.
Back in action.
I don't know what is real no more. Tired of it. I don't know what to feel no more. Oh, tired of it. I don't know what is real no more. Tired of it.
All right, that song is called Tired. Would you forward that for this indie film or would you not? Type a +1 if you would forward and a +2 if you would not. And Liz will total them up. Honestly, I do not feel like I am well versed enough in alt indie pop songs. I mean, what makes it alt? I don't know. I mean, that felt like a good song. I just don't know if it's alt indie pop. Yo, Andre. Hello, everybody. I know many of you in there. Paul Croteau. Ashmita helped me earlier today. Give her a raise. She just got hired. Actually, she's been with us now for probably 3 months, I'm guessing, and we love having her here. She was a very good hire, and we're delighted she has joined us. Hello, Marion. Oh, yeah. Michael Bruce Miller said we should just use F for forward, R for return. Duh. Great idea. All right, we'll try that on the next song. The F word. 20 forwards, 9 returns. Those of you who voted to forward that, you would be correct. You get an A. All right, I'm going to move kind of quickly now because we have a lot of ground to cover to make up for that little lost time. All right. This one is called When You Wake Up, and it was for the same listing, which was for contemporary alt indie pop songs with male or female vocals. References were Kali Uchis, When You Die by MGMT, Blame It on the Stars by Andy Grammer, Lost by Frank Ocean, Baby Girl by Bryce Vine. I'm not going to repeat everything because I'm trying to go quickly. So those of you who came late, I don't know what to tell you, but you got to get up to speed. Okay. Once again, this is called When You Wake Up.
already shown me who you are 100 times. I never really wanted to break up. Maybe you can call me when you wake up. I wish that you could just be real. Tell me what you think I wanna hear, but you don't feel. I never really wanted to break up. Maybe you can call me when you wake up. When you wake up, I hope you're fine. I hope you're fine. Some peace of mind. When you wake up, I hope you feel the way you feel. And realize when you wake up, don't you lie to me with your lame half-ass apology. No, your insecurities coming up, I'm done with it. Never really wanted to break up. Maybe you can call me when you wake up. When you wake up, you're like your dog without a bone, accusing me of all the things you do when you're alone. I never really wanted to break up. Maybe you can call me when you wake up. I run my stress down when I try to help you out. Say you want this, but you always let me down. Over and over again, I will be down to believe you again. When you wake up, I hope you're fine. I hope you're fine. Some peace of mind. When you wake up, I hope you feel the way you feel. And realize when you wake up, no, don't you lie to me with your lame half-ass apology. No, your insecurities coming up, I'm done with it. No, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but you bring that side of me out. Don't waste my energy. Call me when you wake up. Call me when you wake up. I can tell you wanna love me, but you don't know how. So quit hitting me up till you figure it out. I didn't wanna break up, so call me when you wake up. When you wake up. Ooh. I never really wanted to break up. Maybe you can call me when you wake up. When you wake up.
All right, that was called When You Wake Up. Type an F if you would forward that for this independent film, or an R if you would return it. F equals forward, R equals return. I did have my microphone open and I was listening through my laptop, so that I may have been the guilty party on some of that delay that you were hearing. It is a tough one, you know, and honestly, I was watching you guys talking about the delay, which, I mean, it was pretty, there was a lot of reverb on the track, but when I put in my earbuds, listened to it, I went, oh, I kind of like that mix. You know, the screeners and the music supervisor are looking for something that works in a scene. There could be mix issues that are so bad that stick out so much that a screener might go, I can't send this to somebody. They're going to hear it as not being broadcast quality. But I would say that was broadcast quality, and the issues with delays are more a matter of personal preference or taste than I didn't hear anything that I thought was a deal breaker on the broadcast quality level. Production sounded pop. A rare case of an F being a good result. That's true, Martin. Very tough choice. Wow, 17 forwards and 18 returns. It was forwarded. So it's funny, half of you didn't agree with the screener. Interesting. And, well, I don't want to get into why, because we have a lot to get through. So I'm sorry. But it is good ear training. All right, this one's for the same listing. I'm gonna kind of scan the listing right now. Independent film with a kind of a big deal music supervisor that uses TAXI a lot. General stylistic wheelhouse of Lottery by Kelly Uchis, When You Die by MGMT, Blame It on the Stars by Andy Grammer, Lost by Frank Ocean, Baby Girl by Bryce Vine. And they're looking for contemporary alt indie pop songs. And as I stated earlier, I am not an expert on what alt indie pop sounds like. I really don't understand the difference. I know what indie pop sounds like. What does alt do to it? I'm not sure. Catchy melodies, earworm hooks, engaging grooves. This had that. Well-crafted lyrics and expressive, well-performed vocals with a lighter touch. I think it hit on a lot of those things. Current-sounding instrumentation, general style of the references, suit your submissions best. Production should be polished, and any virtual instruments need to be high quality and fresh. I think I'm going to ask the A&R staff to quit using the word fresh when talking about instruments or sounds. I prefer not dated. That fresh can be interpreted different ways maybe, but not dated can't be misinterpreted. Wow, who do I sound like? I sound like George Bush. What was the word he used to do? But misinterpreted. George Bush the younger. He had one word that he always screwed up like that. I thought it was cute. All right, let's listen to another one for that same listing. This one is called Loose Change. You guys could not post an R and F yet. You could influence other voters. So keep your opinions to yourselves.
You walk out of the club and straight to your car. The motor cranks up and you said bye-bye. You got to hurry 'cause it's getting late. You gotta get home 'cause you just can't wait. So can you lose change? Lose change. Lose change. Lose
Wow. You don't hear a fade very often anymore. That was kind of cool. All right. Vote with an F for a forward and an R for a return. Let's see how you guys got it. And yes, while you're hanging out, click the like button. YouTube does like it when you like us. If you're not a subscriber to the channel already, please do. And click that little alert bell so that you get a heads up when we start a show. Whoa. The votes are rolling in. I'm going to look at something. And once again, I want to remind you guys that we had 83 submissions for this. 65 were returned, 18 were forwarded. It was for an independent film. All right, so I'm not even going to ask Liz to total it up because clearly you guys, by a vast majority, would have returned it, and you agreed with the screener. And let me tell you what the screener had to say. Screener said, what I like most about this song is the straight-ahead energy of the track and dig the individual performances of, like the bass player, for instance, the drummer. Love the Barry sax part. The track is 70s inspired, over-sounding current alt indie pop per the listing request. Telling you guys, like 80% of the stuff that doesn't get forwarded by Taxi, that's a good song, just not right for this listing or that genre or the right decade. Targeting more toward like sounding the refs track, sounding more like the ref tracks is a suggestion. I returned or forwarded this song because it's off target with requested genre and the reference material. Note, Blame It on the Stars by Andy Grammer for review. So there you go. Happens all the time. And then people say, oh, I joined Taxi and they couldn't get me any deals. Well, that's because you were pitching this stuff poorly. Might be the greatest musician in the world, but you got to have the pitch part down as well and know the genres. And we give you references. In this case, the references came from the music supervisor. Doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, you don't, Marion says you get it to sound like the genre of the references. Yeah, you don't want to clone the material. You don't want to sound, oh, this sounds like that song. You want your song, if it were added to the playlist that you have in the reference section of the listing, if your song was on that playlist, would it fit? And if it would, then it's probably a good fit. Nobody in the industry, sorry, I got a tickle on my nose. Nobody in the industry wants your song to sound like one of the references. That's a recipe for a lawsuit. It's just bad behavior. Don't do that, kids. All right, one more on that batch. This one is called Attached. Remember, don't vote until the music stops, please. Same listing.
Force me off my bed today. You think I'd love to live this way, but now I'm calling you again. Oh, you know that
part.
You know that I love you. Could I be the one you tell them to do? I don't know why I play this game. It's just something about you.
This is what it sounded like when Prince wrote this.
Sometimes when you do me like that, I don't know why. Sometimes when you do me like that, I don't know why. Sometimes I don't know why. Sometimes you do me like
A lot of interesting sounds in there. All right, guys. F if you would forward. R. That was a P. R. That was a back. That was a D actually. R if you would return. Yeah, the references are a little diverse. You know, God, there's so much we could say about that. This music supervisor knows his music. I know him well. There are some that really don't know contemporary music all that, or maybe music all that well, period. Maybe even the older stuff. And they take pot shots when trying to explain what it is that they're looking for. This guy really knows music, like world-class expert. I would never question his taste or his knowledge. It's encyclopedic. But he's probably feeling like, hey, you know, anything that's kind of like in the ballpark of any of these. So maybe there's not a real strong, matchup among them, but maybe in the context of where they're all at, something that would still, you know what? Sometimes we'll say something you would hear at a party that's also playing this music. So maybe that's the case. I can't play the references to. First of all, I don't have the time to play them all. And second of all, the show would get blocked by YouTube because I'm sure there'd be an untoward, unwanted, and illegal use of somebody's music if I played them all. So sadly I can't, but you can play them at home to check them out real quick. Okay, so 9 people said they would forward that, 15 would return it, and the screener returned it, and the screener said, what I like most about this song are the production tones and the top line work. Screener also said, I think he could improve this song by : overall nice tune with solid production values. That said, I could hear a stronger contemporary pop tie-in for this request when compared to the reference material. Prevailing vibe here is electro pop. Note songs like Lost by Frank Ocean for review. Singular reason I forwarded or returned this. I returned it because the style could tie closer to the reference material. So there you go. You guys got those last 2. Totally nailed them. All right, moving on now to... We are now moving on to listing number S230622WW. We had 79 submissions for this one. 62 were returned, 17 were forwarded. Pretty close in numbers to that last one. Just purely coincidental, but noteworthy nonetheless. There is no secret formula. There is nothing going on behind the scenes you don't know about. Purely coincidence. Okay, so this one was looking for Motown slash soul, 60s style Motown slash soul songs with male or female vocals are needed by an excellent music library for placements in TV, film, and advertising. Libraries on the hunt for mid to up-tempo songs that could be found on a playlist with the following examples that we got directly from our contact at the company. We love that when they do a little bit of work for us. That way we can know that we're going to hit their target because they gave it to us. The reference was the Oogum Boogum song by Brenton Wood. Interesting. I haven't heard that one in forever. Note, this company's open to hearing both high-quality vintage recordings recorded back in the day or recently recorded songs in the general production style of the refs. Quoting library, we're seeking authentic, vintage 1960s Motown and soul songs. That's funny. They are actually open to hearing both, but they said we're seeking authentic, vintage 60s Motown soul songs, capture the distinctive sound, and were recorded during this era. Also in search of high-quality contemporary songs that embody the sound and style of vintage Motown and soul from the 60s. Some key characteristics may include soulful vocals, infectious melodies, driving rhythms, and the prominent use of horns and strings. Please send in top-notch Motown slash soul songs that sound like they were plucked directly from the 1960s. Memorable melodies, super catchy choruses, engaging lyrics, inviting grooves, and soulful, well-performed vocals are all needed for this request. 60s-style Motown soul instrumentation and arrangements that fall in the general wheelhouse of the examples are required for this pitch. Your production should be well-balanced and era-appropriate, and if you choose to use any virtual instruments or samples, they need to be of high quality. The rest is all pretty boilerplate. Let me go back. Here we go. All right, first one we're going to listen to is called If You Won't Hold Me.
If you won't hold me, don't get too close. I feel you breathing inside my soul. Out of my mind, inside my heart, like the stars won't light the dark. If you won't take hold of my hand, the sun will fall into the sand. If you won't hold me, if you won't hold, if you won't hold me, if you won't hold, if you won't hold me, don't get too close. Oh, something tells me you don't want me to go. If you don't show me, well, I'll never know. Don't get too
Wow. Okay, start type, yeah, R for return, F for a forward. Yeah, I'm not going to comment yet, other than to say I was thinking it was like maybe closer gospel blues. It's certainly not Motown, right? Enough votes to come in that I know is not getting forwarded. Except for Ken Mesford. No, we can't forward it if it's not right, Ken. It's such an awesome piece of music, you know. This is one of those cases where you just want to like forward it anyway because it's so good. But what are they going to do? Are they going to rewrite the script? Are they going to reshoot the scene, call the actors that finished shooting 6 months ago and say, can you all fly back to wherever they are and put the sets back up and hire 118 people for the crew again? All that just to make a song work? No, of course not. But the song is awesome. The glass slipper. Yeah, it is a great song. I love that song, but and I love her performance on it, and I love the dobro playing on it. I love everything about it, but it's just not right. So classic case of now the member's going to be upset with the screener or with Taxi. It's like, no, we couldn't forward that. All right, let's listen to this one. Is called You Just Get Me. You just get me, right? Let's have a listen.
I don't know how to begin. Tell you what I'm feeling, but now it's time that I did. 'Cause I can keep it hidden. For so long I've been fighting with myself, trying hard not to fall. And all the while you've been stealing every bit of my heart and my soul. You just get me, baby. You just get me, baby. I'm yours. You just get me, baby. You just get me, baby. I'm yours. I've never been understood. No one took the time, but when I met you, I knew you could read my signs. For so long I've been fighting with myself, trying hard not to fall. And all the while you've been stealing every bit of my heart and my soul. You just get me, baby. You just get me, baby. I'm yours. You just get me, baby. You just get me, baby. I'm yours. I don't know how to begin to tell you what I'm feeling, but now it's time that I did. You just get me, baby. You just get me, baby. I'm yours.
got me, baby. I'm yours. You just got me, baby. You just got me, baby. I'm yours, yeah.
All right. F for forward, R for return. Light them up. Let's see what you guys think. The listing, once again, asked for either truly vintage or stuff that was made to sound like it's from back in the day. Go back to the first page here. Shouldn't have stapled these. Mid to up-tempo songs could be found on a playlist we got directly from our contact at the company. Heatwave by Martha and the Vandellas, Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, and My Girl by The Temptations. And I missed those before, and the Oogum Boogum song by Brenton Wood. Okay, so we had 28 forwards, 3 returns. No surprise there. And as far as the Greg Carrozza comment about the length, you're right, but it doesn't matter. They'll just edit it. What are the odds they're going to use the whole song anyway? They're probably going to use 8.5 seconds of it. Anyway, that was really good. It got forwarded. I hope it gets placed. Like I said, I know the Music Soup. I should call and say, hey, did you use that one? Can't imagine him finding something better than that. Michael Cross says, not Motown enough. I think in the context of dialogue and action on the screen and everything, that if this were playing, like somebody walks into a club and you hear 4.5 seconds of that playing, it would register in the listeners' minds as Motown. Remember, the audience in a movie theater or watching a TV set is not critiquing music like we are. But we have to critique it that way for the libraries, or in this case, was it music supervisor? Can't remember. In any case, pretty darn good. Let's see. Maybe this wasn't for that same music supervisor. Era appropriate broadcast quality. No, this is for a library. I stand corrected. It wasn't the music suit. Okay, next we have this one is called What's Love About? And it was submitted for that same listing, looking for Motown-esque. Man, I need to, here, I'm just going to, nope, I don't want to tear my pages apart. Okay, let's have a listen to What Love's About.
Wish it was simple as a song of a scene, but that's not what love's about. Red roses on the 14th, love notes and diamond rings, cliches and happy endings. Thought that's what it'd be, but that's not what love's about. It's crazy, it's what's gonna save me. It's backseats and heartbreaks and photos we're saving.
save me. It's backseats and heartbreaks and photos we're saving. It's kissing and gushing, breakups over nothing. It's not like the movies, it's written. It's just, it's the memories we can't live without. Memories we can't live without. That's what love's about.
Almost forgot my job there. Okay, that's called what? Did I get that right? No. What Love's About. I'm confused. Yeah, that's What Love's About. Okay, so F for forward, R for return. I can see just by looking up a lot of returns on that. Now, I know this member. He's a smart guy. He's a good guy. He's a really solid writer. And you could tell Kelly says, I'd love to re-record that song. Yeah, this guy's a great writer. And he gets frustrated with Taxi because he hardly ever gets forwarded, if memory serves. I haven't spoken to him in like 3.5, 4 years now. But he takes his writing very seriously, really seriously. He gives it every ounce of energy he can, shows in the song. So the screener, good song, forward, but we don't forward because it's a good song. Remember, we don't forward because the song is good. We forward because the song is good and it's right for what the listing asked for. It is a great song. So 2 forwards, 28 returns. You guys who returned it got it right. Screener said, fun 80s, 90s style pop with an R&B flavor. I like the vocals, nice melody, good movement, development. All true. I like this, but the electronic production is just not organic enough for the 60s style or even recently recorded songs in the general production style of. I'd say this for a more relevant request. 280s, 90s for authentic vintage style, 60s Motown. So it troubles me when people that I know, I mean, I know this gentleman, he's smart. Like, I would do a road trip with this guy. We could talk all day. Why did he send it? What goes through somebody's mind? Did they think, well, it's got a couple little elements, you know, it's got a little bit of soul, a little bit of R&B to it. Doesn't sound anything like Motown. Did he think, well, they'll just hear it and think that, wow, that's a really good song. The writing is really solid. I really like that recording. I don't know. It breaks my heart. There's no other better way to say it than it just breaks my heart that people send submissions in just taking that pot shot. And then ultimately, the screener and Taxi take the hit. I hope that that gentleman's watching the show because I really like him a lot. And I hope it sinks in. All right, let's listen to another one. I don't think I played this one yet, did I? If You Won't Hold Me. Let's have a listen. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. How could I forget that? All right. This one's called High on Your Love.
High on your love, high on your love, high on your love, high on your love,
yeah. My heart jumps out of my chest when you look my way, and the words that you say. My head starts spinning around. I've been tired of you, and the center of my universe. I'm spinning all around you. I'm so glad I found you. You see the stars in my eyes. You're the ultimate prize. Girl, your love made me the luckiest guy. I've never been as high before. No, no. Your love is my drug, and I want some more.
High on your love, high on your love,
Yeah.
high on your love, high on your love.
Take it higher, take it higher.
High on your love, high on your love. I'm high on your love.
All right. High on your love. F for a forward, R for return. Rack 'em up. Let's see what you got. I've got a dying battery. I've got one power cord, one charger, and two laptops. This one's at 62%. I'm going to uncharge that and charge this one for a while. How long will this program run? For another 27 minutes. "36 returns and 8 forwards. The screener disagreed with you." Interesting, huh? The screener did, in fact, forward that one. And I would suspect again, I'm not the screener. I wasn't the screener. I don't live inside the screener's head. But I used to screen a lot the first several years of Taxi, and I would think that I would have probably forwarded, because if you understand how most music gets used, a lot of library, I should say most, but maybe the majority of library music gets used in TV shows, not exclusively, not all the time. And a lot of that is background source music. Somebody is driving in a car, having a conversation, there's a radio playing. Somebody walks into a club, there's music playing. The door opens, you hear the music, conversation starts, music gets ducked way down, and in a matter of a few seconds, it's out. Again, the people watching TV or sitting in a movie theater are not thinking about the music. Maybe they're feeling how the music enhances the scene. But if they're actually listening to the music, the director is going to be really upset. The writer who wrote the words is going to be really upset. People lose track of the story if they're sitting there going, "Oh man, I love this song. It's so hooky." So they're really looking for a more visceral, textural experience. And that's the reason I would have forwarded this one personally. It sounded Motown-esque enough. I didn't think it was Motown-esque enough to fool anybody into thinking that was actually vintage, but a lot of the parts were played like they were on Motown records. I didn't think that the song itself was so incredibly good, but again, it sounded the song, it sounded authentic to the era. So if I were a music supervisor or a video editor placing music in a TV show and I needed 5 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, not a full song, not cranked up to 10, not featured with no dialogue on top of it. If the opposite of those things happened, I would use this. If I were a Music Soup and if I were a library owner, I would want this in my catalog. It's so funny. It's ironic to me that we get complaints from people all the time. I can't believe you guys didn't forward this stuff. But then watching you guys listen and be the judge, you guys are actually, in some cases, not maybe all, but in some cases, you guys are more strict than the screeners would be. I want to do something at the Road Rally this year. You know what? Next week, for next week's TAXITV, let's do an open forum Q&A talking about Road Rally panels. I'm putting them together right now. Maybe we should do something like this in the Grand Ballroom on a big scale so that more people can learn what we're learning here. And get... maybe get a Music Soup on stage and a library owner on stage and do this sort of thing with them in the room. I don't know. I do find that when you put music library owners and music supervisors or record label people on stage at any conference, but the Road Rally is the one I'm most familiar with, obviously, they're nicer and more lenient than they would be behind closed doors, because it's hard to sit up there on a stage looking out at a ballroom with like 1,000 people in it, and to be that person who goes, nope, not right, I wouldn't forward this, or I wouldn't listen to this, I wouldn't sign this, I wouldn't use this in my TV show. Anyway, so let's do that next week, all right? Liz, would you kindly make a note? Next week, we're going to have an open forum about what we'd like to do at this year's rally. I was contemplating that earlier today. This convinced me. So thank you. Thank you for all your input. Love you, dudes and dudettes. All right, moving on. And this, I think I have one more to go. No, I don't. You've heard them all. Okay, now... we are moving on to yet another listing. I have to go kind of quickly on this one. This one is listing. This was for dispatch. 230622 PS. Postscript. 54 submissions, lower number because it was dispatch. 34 returns, 20 forwards. This proves an interesting point. Not a large percentage of our members belong to Taxi Dispatch. The ones who do tend to be, we discourage people from upgrading to dispatch level unless they're an experienced member that gets a lot of forwards, maybe has some library deals, maybe has some placements. If you know the drill, dispatch can be a good thing for you. Dispatch is largely today what it is has been requested or demanded by the members who use it. But out of 54 submissions, 20 were forwarded. That is probably evidence, I believe, of the quality of members that sign up for dispatch. They're just more serious. They work a little more, they work harder at it. They take it seriously, and so there you go. JD, dispatch is an upgrade to regular taxi. I can't take 5 minutes in the middle of the show to explain it to you, but why don't you just call the staff and they'll explain it to you. It's almost all instrumental stuff for film and TV. Excuse me, it's morphed a bit over the years due to pressure from the members. All right, let's have a listen. Oh, I should read the listing. This is for pulsing investigative tension instrumentals or instrumental cues. A bunch, this is the actual listing, a bunch of pulsing investigative tension instrumentals or instrumental cues needed by an international music library with lots of great placements in film and television. The library is on the lookout for mid to up-tempo instrumentals and or cues in the general wheelhouse of the following examples. 2 by Matt Quayle, 1 by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Excuse me. Please submit top-notch. I've had problems with that all damn day. Investigative, try saying that a lot. Investigative tension instrumentals and cues. Excuse me. Your submission should have engaging, brimming with plenty of dark, moody, and pulsing energy. Remember that, dark, moody, pulsing. Your submission should have engaging motifs, slick arrangements, throbbing rhythms, and plenty of suspenseful energy. Current sounding electronic instrumentation in the general wheelhouse of the references and others like them will suit your submissions best. We recommend crafting your pieces around a central motif and creating a sense of tension, forward motion, and interest by layering instrumentation in and out as it progresses. Your production should be polished. Any virtual sound samples need to be state-of-the-art. I've actually asked the staff to quit using the phrase state-of-the-art. What the hell does that mean? Just say they can't be dated sounding. Submission should be roughly 90 seconds, give or take, for cues, and about 2 to 4 minutes long, for instrumentals. So let's have a listen. And this track is called Questions. Pulsing. Remember, we're looking for dark, moody, and pulsing. Would you forward or would you return? F for a forward, vote R for return. Let's see what you got. By the way, I interviewed Jeff LaPlante, who I see in the chat room, on Saturday for our next passenger profile video for the taxi transmitter, which will be out at the end of this month. And Jeff LaPlante did such a great job in that interview. I mean, really, really, really just dripping with great information, so don't miss it. Did we get a score yet? Or is Liz calculating away on her iPhone as we speak? You're welcome, Jeff. It was you that did the great job. Sorry, I've got a cough drop in my mouth. If you can hear it, I know it's not so professional. 7 forwards, 37 returns. Those of you who forwarded it were wrong. The returns, it was returned. Let's see what the screener said. Screener said, what I might like most about it is this is a good start and the idea is there. That's true. The bell-like sound playing throughout is sticking out too much. Xylophone, whatever that thing was, it'd be great to replace that element. I saw some of you guys talking about it. See, you're in agreement with the screener. I returned or forwarded this song because could use more work in making this sound darker by replacing the previously mentioned element. So there you go. Screener is right in there with you guys. You are right in there. Those of you who voted to return that, I'll be offering every one of you a job on the screening staff. I'm kidding. But good job. Ewart Williams has this perfect score. Sorry, Ewart. Oh, man. Okay. How we doing on time? Not quite enough. This one is called Shades of Darkness. I hit that button with a lot of zeal. It's like back in the 70s when I used to do punch-ins on really tight things like, boom, you got to hit it hard and fast. All right. Would you forward or would you return on that one? Michael Liddell's, or is that Mitchell Liddell's, whoever it was, flew by very quickly. Said, okay, Mitchell says, okay, but needs more of something. Come on, Mitchell, if you're going to be a taxi screener, you got to be able to say, well, what is that something that it needs more of? Jane Greer, returning. Jane Greer, I love your name. Sounds like a British actress name. Edmund, don't go to bed. Don't be a wuss. Stay up, man. Party with the old folks. See you later, Edmund. More cough drop. $46 forwards and 4 returns. Well, those of you who forwarded that are correct. The screener forwarded it as well. All right. Next one. This is called News Secrets. All right. F if you would forward, R if you would return. And vote quickly because we have one more to go. This is a tough one. $36 forwards and 10 returns. Guess what? It was returned. And wait till you hear what the screener said. Several of you guys picked up on it. Hi. Oops, can't say the name. I like the dark attitude and the developing tension on this instrumental. I think you can improve this by the next subhead. This is very good and so close. For this request, try an alt arrangement / instrumentation and replace the strings with a current sounding pad that does not have a bowed sound. This sound is dated and sticks out. Everything else works well. The track has good suspenseful attitude, although it could benefit from a revision of the instrumentation to get close to the desired character, style of the production, sound referenced and requested in the listing. So you guys were totally on it. Strings were a bad choice. I mean, maybe the strings combined with the pad with the strings a lot lower, maybe, but it took it back to another era. It made it sound like, an 80s crime show, not a 2023 crime show. Yeah, screeners Michael Cross can't write that. Sorry, it just didn't grab me. If a screener ever wrote that, they would probably be stalked by the member they did that to. No, not suggesting anybody stalks anybody. Okay, one more to go. This one is called Private Investigation. F for a forward, R for return. Let's see what you guys say. Will you match with the screener? By the way, while you're voting, I really like the idea of us hanging out next week and talking about the road rally, figuring out what it is that you guys really want to have happen there. So please do me a favor, spread the word around. If you're on any Facebook groups, in the forum, anywhere you can. I would love to get a big turnout of taxi members for next week's show so that we get... I'm so determined to make this road rally by far the best one we've ever done before. And I really could use your help. So please show up. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I can't play the references. Sorry. I just can't. A couple times I've done that stuff. YouTube just, sorry, show over. 25 forwards, 15 returns. See how hard it is? I'm not going to tell you if it's forwarded or returned yet. But you guys can't agree. And I'm not blaming anybody or saying you guys are inept or anything. I'm just saying try and put yourself in the screener's hot seat. And the screeners know that they're getting checked. Every forward, every return goes through the head screener for one more layer of checking. The head screener doesn't listen to it again unless there seems to be a problem with it. If they see language that's inconsistent, let's say in the critique, the head screener may choose to listen. If it's a member that the head screener knows consistently gets forwarded, and this one didn't get a forward, the head screener might want to check that out. I can't say that these are absolutes or they happen every time. I don't know, because I'm not the head screener. But I did come up with the idea of having a head screener for that extra layer of protection. Check the quality of the work. And this one was a forward. I thought, libraries I personally felt like this was usable. And that's a very important thing, as you guys well know, those of you who have been around for a while. Libraries aren't in the business of finding music that is simply great. They're in the business of finding music that is usable in as many applications, meaning scenes, as possible, because that means that they put something in their library that somebody is going to be willing to pay for a license for down the road. So usability, it's not, wow, that's great, I love it. That's not enough. Is it great, and is it usable? Can it make money for the library? Can it solve a problem for the director trying to amplify a mood in a scene? So music actually becomes a tool. It's a creative tool, an artistic tool, but it is in fact a tool. So there you go. Well, that was fun. I'm really glad that you guys showed up for this, and that those of you who did hopefully learned something from it. Thank you to all the Taxi members whose music we heard today. If you're new to the show and you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button so that YouTube likes us better. Give us a thumbs up so they like us even more. And hit that little alert bell so that you get notified. If you missed an email and a show goes live, you'll find out. Like I said, next week we are going to come up with ideas for road rally panels that the majority of you watching the show like. And there you go. So that's it. I will see you next week for another ultra exciting episode of Taxi TV Live. Bye-bye, you guys.